Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. So, I've got you guys an update on some very active times ahead that we've got coming up next week, as we will see a very high threat for severe weather down here in the southeast as we get through Monday into Tuesday. I've got you guys a bit of a mini update on what's going to be happening for the rest of November. I'm not going to be showing, the radar and the current alerts. I just want to jump right into the latest details on what we could expect for our upcoming storm system. So, taking a look here at the NAM 3K model, we're starting out with our upcoming severe weather threats. So, starting out here, this is where we are right now. This is 10 p.m. tonight. Right now, it is 10:07. All right, and so currently we have heavy snow showers flying over the Rockies here in the upper elevations of Colorado. We've got some developing storm systems off into New Mexico, and we've got a low pressure system trying to take control of both of these areas of precipitation. So this is going to be our kickstart of what's going to happen. Notice that these thunderstorms, they go from eastern New Mexico all the way to Kansas into Oklahoma. All right, and so this is where they get taken over by that low pressure, and that it drifts along with them. So we're getting to 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, and now we're starting to see some thunderstorms starting to build up across portions of northwestern Kansas. You can see also into northern Oklahoma, we're starting to see some more thunderstorm action. So what does the storm do? Well, it continues to get stronger and stronger. We, by the way, have continuous surging moisture up ahead of this system, and that's really going to allow for strengthening and more convection to build up in the atmosphere. All right, and we also do have some cold air aloft coming down from the northern U.S., and so we don't have a huge Arctic blast behind this system, all right? But we do have a slight opening in our ridge that's going to allow some cold air to move down, and that's going to be able to push against this and kind of just throw it off to the east. All right, and so when do we see that big severe weather threat start to ramp up? Well, I'll get you guys there in a moment. All right, so starting out here, 2 p.m. Sunday, we can see a lot of thunderstorms now starting to really build up across anywhere from southern Kansas all the way down towards central Texas, and these thunderstorms will just continue to grow and develop, and then they'll get stronger and stronger here. And then really once we get to 4 a.m., this was 4 a.m. Monday, so very early Monday morning, this is where we actually do see that's the severe potential. I know this doesn't look that interesting, but wait just a moment. I think this is going to really shock you guys of how strong this storm will get in such a short period of time, because this is Monday. We're getting into Monday, and this is where we have that slight risk. Usually, you would not see a slight risk 3 days out for a storm system that looks like this. All right, so we see how this just continues to develop. When we get to we get to noon, we get to 12 p.m., and we're already dealing with some very strong storms moving through southern Missouri into northern and central Arkansas, and these do look tornadic there. They are relatively discrete, meaning that they are kind of spread apart. All right, I don't see that much curviness on them, but you can definitely tell that they are supercells because they're very small pockets of thunderstorms. That's what they look like. All right, and so that's what we see here on the NAM 3K model, and they continue to develop, and boom, right here. All right, this is where we get that tornado threat. You can see 6 p.m. This is 6 p.m. Into Monday, okay, 6 p.m. Monday, and we're starting to see a big tornado threat really starting to ramp up here. Notice how we have two lines here of supercell storms. We can see that first frontal line. That's where we see the stronger storms really starting to charge through, and then behind it, we get another line of further developing storm systems. So we could almost get a double trouble kind of situation here, where we get two lines of developing supercells that could actually drop tornadoes here. And so this is ranging, I would say this tornado threat could be ranging all the way from western Tennessee down towards the Gulf Coast of Louisiana. So a big area here that's going to be under the gun for severe weather. But really, this is the main area to watch right here. That's going to be the prime zone for tornadoes. And then this really looks like could be an evening event, and I'm afraid that that's going to be pretty tough because it's going to be dark at this point. Because we're getting dark really as soon as 6 p.m. I don't know if it's a whole lot different down here in the southeast, because I'm on Long Island and it's getting dark really as soon as 5 o'clock. So I'm assuming that it'll be dark at least at around six o'clock. So it would definitely be dark at this point. So if we have nighttime tornadoes, that is going to be a bad scenario here, and it's looking like we will actually see a big tornado threat. And this storm continues. Man, look how explosive these supercells are, and they just look very, very intense. And I'm afraid that this tornado threat really lasts anywhere from 5 to 10, roughly 5 to 10 p.m., which is going to be 5 hours of tornadic supercells. And so this is really going to be a storm system that we're all going to have to watch. All eyes are on this system, and then what's going to be happening behind it with our future systems. But we can see that this line of supercells starts to conjoin. They join together, and then this forms that frontal line and frontal boundary of damaging wind gusts here, and we can see we're getting the middle of the night, Monday to Tuesday, and this is where we get that damaging wind gust threat. That lasts another few hours. We're pretty much from, let's see, 1 second. We're pretty much from 10 p.m. Monday to Tuesday, all the way really to 5 a.m. So that's going to be even longer. That's 7 to 8 hours of just pure damaging wind gust. And that's this is looking like this could actually be a big time outbreak. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say it's going to be an outbreak because we don't know that yet, but something big looks very possible in the southeast here, Monday to Tuesday. And so we'll continue watching this. We'll continue looking at what the Storm Prediction Center says about this. All right, but man, this really does not look good for the southeast. So, moving on to the Storm Prediction Center, you can see here we're looking at a slight risk 3 days out. Okay, so this has a lot of time to change for your forecast. But what we see here, we can see northern and central Louisiana into southern Arkansas. You guys are all in that risk. Western and southern Mississippi, and then also portions of eastern Texas. You guys are all in that slight risk. A total population of almost 6 million people, including Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, Lafayette, Louisiana, and Tyler, Texas. All of you guys are in that risk, including also Greenville, Mississippi. But man, I think that we are really going to be dealing with a very dangerous storm system here. And so the surrounding areas are under currently a marginal risk, which is a level 1 out of 5. The slight risk is level 2 out of 5. But I think that we could be dealing with the enhanced risk maybe as soon as tomorrow. I think it's going to take some time. So if you're looking for when the slight enhanced risk could come out, I think tomorrow evening really is going to be the best shot to for that to come out, but we really don't know yet. But the probabilistic chance for this, the percentages, well, the slight risk is a 15% chance of seeing severe thunderstorms, and the marginal risk is a 5%. Okay, and if you were wondering what's going to be happening Wednesday, we don't have a threat for severe weather because this storm is just going to turn into frozen precipitation, so we won't have to worry about any severe weather after that. So that's going to lead us to the GFS model. We have been talking about this huge round of storm systems that's going to be tracking over pretty much the entire United States throughout the rest of November. We've been trying to break this down for days now. All the models continue to struggle. Really, nobody knows exactly, what magnitude of and how dangerous these storms will be, and where they're going to strike, when they're going to strike. We just don't know for sure. But I'm going to try and break all this down for you guys right here. All right, and so we can see that starting out right now, this is our picture. Right now, we have a pretty good Arctic blast trying to move down into portions of the interior Northeast. That's not really going to do much other than to keep this storm system that's actually currently impacting Nova Scotia with very strong winds, lots of rainfall. That's going to that's going to continue to keep it out of the United States. Okay, but also look at this. A huge ridge starting to build over the western U.S. I mean, we can't even see where this worm ends. So that's where we see a big ridge. But notice here we're starting to get a pretty good bump in the jet stream here. Whenever we see a disturbance in the jet stream, that's going to spark some storms. Here comes your big severe weather event. All right, that flies through, and then once this ends its path of being a severe thunderstorm event, this is when it turns to a winter storm. We can see really um, just above New York State into just north of Michigan and Wisconsin. We see a pretty good thumping of snow for portions of southeastern Canada, but where you see the winter precipitation is the interior Northeast. We see pretty much all of eastern New York State. That's where we're going to see that sleet, freezing rain, snow. This is 78 hours out, so this storm, we're pretty confident that this storm will happen. We're starting to get a pretty good idea of how strong it will be, when it's going to happen. And I'm afraid, guys, that this could actually happen right on Thanksgiving. All right, I think Thanksgiving this year is on either the 23rd or 24th. I'm not sure. All right, but what is this? The latest 18Z GFS shows a very big system going right through the northeastern U.S. We can see very, very heavy rain coating New Jersey, southern New England, including all of Long Island. This is New York City. And I mean, this storm system is really going to snarl travel. This is not going to be good. I'm telling you guys, this is our worst nightmare for forecasters here, because we don't want any problems with people traveling, because there are millions of people traveling at once, and this is going to, any storm system, really, even if it's weak, it's going to cause huge delays and just problems in our travel and our just traveling place to place, really, across the United States. But again, when we see that dip in the jet stream, any twist or turn or bump in the jet stream, that's going to allow for storms to get sparked up. That's what we see here, and we see very heavy snow, including portions of New Hampshire into what could be Vermont. You guys actually could be including that snow, but really Maine too, getting a lot of snow. This could actually stay as a all snow event for Maine. That would definitely lead to some high snowfall accumulations out for you guys. And then this storm makes its way offshore, but it's still snowing very hard, which this is most likely going to be Thanksgiving. So you could be dealing with a white Thanksgiving out there in Maine, meaning that we're going to see multiple inches on the ground, really anywhere in Maine. Although if you're in southeastern Maine, you might stay as all rain, a little bit of snow possible there, but that's going to be it for that storm system. All right, so we're stuck here at the 24th. Okay, this is Friday. All right, we're Friday the 24th. Okay, we've got a big system, or I wouldn't say system yet, but a big piece of energy starting to fly over the Central Plains. It's being dotted by this high pressure. This is not stationary, meaning that it's not very strong and it's not staying in the same place. So that might allow for the storm to develop, and it does develop. All right, it doesn't look that bad. We just got a big stripe of snow, really ranging from portions of central and southern Missouri, going all the way up towards Michigan, where we have a lot of snow, and then this just moved right through the Northeast and just brings rain. All right, not a bad system at all, really. This isn't looking like it's going to be that strong. 180 hours out, so it's got a lot of time to change. All right, but it looks like anywhere from the 25th to the 26th, so just about a week out, we could be dealing with a minor system, potentially for the Eastern U.S. And then another system starts to form behind it. This little feature out here in the jet stream, a little bit of a dip here, a dig, and then the southeastern ridge starting to fold over. That's going to allow for this little Gulf moisture storm system, or whatever you want to call it, to start to enter the southeast, and that moves up to the northeast. Almost acts like how a nor'easter kind of would, and actually brings snow to the northeast. I mean, this is a long time out. This is the 29th, but the 18th GFS shows a snowstorm for portions of New Jersey, Long Island, New York City, southern New England, but really into northern Virginia, West Virginia, and then southern PA is where we could see the heavier snow with this. But that's going to change a lot, so we really don't know much about what exactly is going to happen with that one. Another system comes up behind it that fails to really develop. That one right here, this little piece of energy that moves over Kansas and Nebraska. And by the way, if you go back, you can see pretty much every single one of these systems brings snow into Nebraska and Kansas. So I think from now to December 1st, you guys in Nebraska and Kansas could be dealing with a lot of snow, like almost maybe up to a foot. Then the 18 ZGFS shows one of the wildest things I've ever seen. Snow as far south as the Texas Panhandle. Okay, that is very far south for December 2nd. We are not supposed to be dealing with heavy snow into southern Texas on December 2nd, but this could be our extended Pacific jet stream that we were talking about with El Nino. This could actually be El Nino flexing on us right here. We're getting to November 30th. We start to see that Pacific jet start to really become amplified, and that's going to allow cold air to settle out here in the Southern U.S. So maybe we could get an early push of El Nino that could allow some snow to actually fly over portions of Texas. I mean, that's a wild scenario, but ladies and gentlemen, we are in El Nino, so that is not out of the picture. And it looks very, very weird and something that you really shouldn't see, but it actually appears to be possible. All right, but this is way out into the future, so this is just just a small trend of model guidance. But the latest 18Z GFS shows another system behind it on December 4th. So that's going to be the latest GFS. We look at the latest Euro here. All right, here comes your first system. This is your system that's going to snarl that Thanksgiving travel. Here comes right here. This is it right here. Okay, here's your big severe weather event in the southeast. All right, and then this comes up to the northeast. Look at this huge amount of rain coming all the way up from really New York State all the way down to Florida. The GFS was showing us some rain and snow for New York State. Well, it's showing as all rain for pretty much everybody in the northeast, although Maine's still hanging out in the snow, and then on the backside we get some snow. But I would say this is showing more of a significant storm based off the Euro, 984 millibars, and then a lot of more backside snow and the heavier snow position farther north. All right, but that moves out, and then we get some lake effect snow here. Look at all this lake effect snow flying over the Great Lakes here. That could lead to some accumulations right around, pretty much right after Thanksgiving. But that's going to be your first system. That's going to be your first system that's going to snarl that Thanksgiving travel. All right, here comes your second system, that piece of energy flying over the central U.S. What does the Euro take this? It pretty much builds into the same kind of system the GFS shows. A little stronger though, same stripe of snow that the GFS was showing here across the Midwest. More rain down south. But really, it starts to get a lot stronger as this moves into the Northeast. And again, another pretty massive storm system for the Northeast, dropping a lot of rainfall on the eastern seaboard. So we move on here, taking a look at basically our upper air wind strength. Okay, and This is based off the GFS. We see starting out we have that same Pacific jet we're talking about right here. It's a little bit bumped, so that's that's definitely normal. It's it will get bumped sometimes, but look at this. Very strong winds out there in the upper atmosphere. This is winds ranging from 140 to 160 knots to about 250 uh 250,000. I actually don't 250,000 feet in the air. I'm not sure. Um, but anyways, we see what this Pacific jet stream does. Well, it continues to flatten out and start to curve out and bend out over the Southern U.S. And here comes a system coming out from the West Coast. Well, this actually attaches to that same Pacific jet stream. We can see here that they're not attached. Look at this; they are definitely not attached until we get to the 19th, and then this really starts to completely bend over. Um, this is that feature in the jet stream that I'm talking about here. Look at this huge dive. Okay, when the jet stream dives like this, I mean, look at that. That is crazy. When it dives so much that it almost folds over like an entire circle, that is going to most certainly cause a big system to form here. And this is why we see such a big threat for severe weather, because this lower level jet, all right, it starts to really it's like it's slowing down here as it moves down, and then it quickly ramps up and just shoots out. Okay, shoots up. All right, and that's right in that same area where that slight risk for severe weather is. And man, it's just crazy. And this huge amplified storm track is going to be crucial for the storm system. But man, I mean, we as the storm even gets into the Northeast, we can see just a very very strong lower level jet here, and that's going to bring a threat for some very strong winds with that system. All right, what happens behind it? Well, that Pacific jet stream doesn't really get active until we get to the 27th, where we could start seeing big another big strengthening in that jet stream. And it really, I mean, this is crazy. This really ramps up. We're nearing 200 miles per hour here, 250 meters or something. I'm not sure, 250 uh, thousand feet in the air. I'm actually sure what how high up in the air we are here, but this isn't. I don't think that this is actually completely that high in the air. So this is your lower level jet that you're looking at here. This is just basically how strong it is. We can see it's really getting strong here over the Northeast, and if you've got your lower level jet ripping at almost 200 miles per hour, that's going to definitely bring some strong winds to the Northeast. I'm not saying that those winds will be 200 miles an hour in the Northeast. Those are those winds that are, in up in the atmosphere. Okay, but that is your lower level jet, so it's closer to the ground. But basically, when you have a stronger lower level jet, that means that you're going to have stronger winds. That's pretty much it. All right, we're getting to December 2nd. This is very far out. But we get that same kind of picture that we're looking at in the next few days here. That same big dip in the jet stream, and then we see that Pacific jet really getting amplified. That's going to maybe allow for another big severe weather event to set up. So very active times ahead, especially with your jet stream. It's going to be pretty wonky. But I'll move over to our latest projected snowfall totals based off the GFS. This is going all the way out to December 4th, okay? And we get snow very far south, a lot of snow, as a matter of fact. We can see snow really getting deep down into the western U.S. We see really everybody in the west getting at least a few inches. But if you're in the if you're the upper elevations, you get a few more inches of snow approaching a foot. Look at this in Kansas, 2 feet of snow. All right, that's what we're seeing, guys. That I pointed out with the GFS, how we saw every system starting out with snow over Nebraska and Kansas. Well, that's going to accumulate here, and this is what you get. You get multiple inches of snow approaching a foot, maybe up to 2 feet of snow. You see this green? Okay, the darker this green here, the more snow that is. And so I actually, sorry guys, I didn't completely mean to say 2 feet of snow. I should have said a foot and a half of snow possible. I mean, it's very possible. I don't think it's likely yet, but it's very possible that we could actually be dealing with snowfall totals of this range out there in the central U.S. And then the GFS showing again that, remember how we saw that on the GFS that that snow, very heavy snow down into the Texas Panhandle. Well, the GFS wants that same storm system to drop over a foot of snow. All right, I think that's pretty ridiculous. So, please hold off on that. But that, I mean, that's pretty wild that the GFS is spitting that out this early in the season. But we go over to the Northeast, taking a look at things. Pretty much everyone, including Southern New England, getting in on a few inches of snow. But up here by Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, that's where we could be dealing with a foot to up to 2 feet of snow. Then a few inches of snow getting all the way down to the Carolinas. Wow, North Carolina getting in on a few inches of snow. Alright, and so that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for coming to watch. We'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, we got to watch out for these very active times coming up. We really got to make sure that we're weather aware, especially about that severe weather event coming up. I'll keep you guys posted and updated on all of this, just all this very active weather in general. And yeah, so thank you so much for coming to watch this video, and I'll see you guys.